They just don't make them like her daddies anymore, do they? There just ain't no way. I was a much more than a baby. I thought he was a bad. The way my daddy carried me around. They said I learned to walk while holding on to just one finger on the hand of a man that stands 6'3". Not old enough to understand the meaning of depression. Just something people talk about a lot. My daddy wasn't one to try to make no big impression. Just one heck of a man that worked for what he got. They don't make me like my daddy anymore. Guess they've thrown away the pattern through the years. And you got big land of freedom at a time we really need 'em. They don't make 'em like my daddy anymore. From the Johnson County coal came through the hills of West Virginia. My daddy worked down in them dark coal mines. Education didn't count so much as what you had born in you, like the will to live and a dream of better times. Daddy never took a handout with pinto beans and bacon, but he worked to keep the wolf back from the door. And it only proves one thing to me: when folks start belly aching, they don't make 'em like my daddy anymore. They don't make me like my daddy anymore. Guess they throw away the pattern through the years. In a great big land of freedom, at a time we really need 'em. They don't make 'em like my daddy anymore. They don't make 'em like my daddy anymore. I know you're sitting out there right now saying to yourself, how in the world did she ever get out of Butcher Holler? Am I right? That's what I thought. This is how I got out of Butcher Holler. I went to school in a little one-room schoolhouse. Right in the middle of the schoolroom sat a great big old iron pot-belly stove. And during the summertime, some of the kids was playing in the schoolhouse yard, and they had broke out some of the window panes, and it was really getting cold. The teacher says, girls, we're going to have to come up with something to raise some money to put these window panes back in the schoolhouse. Well, we come up with a pie supper. How many of you have ever been to a pie supper? All right. How many of you don't know what a pie supper is? Well, I'm fixing to tell you. She says, now, girls, all of you that are big enough, you bake your own pie. And whoever the boy is that buys your pie can help you eat this pie and walk you home. Right then, I started getting ready for the big pie supper. We had our pie supper 1 week later. The young fella that she got the bit off the pies I'd never met. He'd just gotten out of the army. He looked like a little toy soldier. Looked to be about 16 or 17, but of course we know he had to be much older than that. He bid the pies off that night, and when it come to my pie, he bought it. After the pie supper was over with, we sat down to eat our pie. I'd made a bad mistake. I'd baked my pie with salt instead of sugar. 13 years old, my first pie, and I'd baked on that thing for a week. Well, he walked me home. That was on the 10th day of December. On the 25th day of December, he bought me a little rubber doll for Christmas. On the 10th day of January, we got married. We moved all the way out of Butcher Holler, clear out to the state of Washington. The next year for Christmas, I got a real doll. And the next year for Christmas, I got another. And the next year, another one. And the next year, by the time I was 17, I had 4. And then they started coming in pairs. And there's been one on the way ever since.